Hey, Cameron.
Yeah.
Well, season 8 and 9 of Wentworth.
Yep.
They're currently in production, or at least I think in the next few days, they're just about to begin filming the back-to-back season 8 and 9. They're filming it all at once.
Yes. It's strange. They haven't done that before, have they?
I don't think so, no. This is the first time that they might have done that. And it's going to be 20 episodes, so we can assume a neat 10 in season 8.
Yes.
10 in season 9.
Yep.
100% confirmed, it's coming to an end.
Yep. After season 9.
So today we are going to be talking about our predictions for the final 20 episodes. And I think it is safe to say, and I truly believe this, it's not just a hope, I truly believe that this is going to be, out of all the eras of this show, the most twists and turns, the most spills and thrills, the most shocking moments, because Wentworth renowned for that anyway, right? They're renowned for that shocking moment.
Yes.
The last 20 episodes, wall to wall, thrills and spills. So we need to have some sort of structure here. So let's go through character by character what we predict are the most likely storylines for our favourite characters of Wentworth.
Yes.
Sound okay?
Yeah, I've got some good predictions.
You reckon?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, let's hear them.
They're
Now,
pretty interesting.
I want everyone to stay tuned because we will be making predictions around the Freak, and it's tempting to start with her, but we're not going to. But stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. I promise we've got a lot to say about that. But I think it's important to start with Rita.
Rita, okay.
Rita, who has, at the end of season 7, gone into protective custody.
Yes.
So she's actually left the compound.
Yes, she's left it. She's left Ruby behind.
Left Ruby behind.
A sad farewell.
And she was a protector for all of them in a way too.
Yes, and they actually, it was mentioned that they wanted her top dog, but they wouldn't want her top dog if they knew that she had been an undercover cop.
Yes, that's the complicating factor. They'd tear her limb from limb.
Yes.
What are you predicting for Rita?
Look, it was very ominous, and it was like foreshadowing some bad events in the last episode. Basically, it was saying that people are coming after her because she's been an undercover cop and she's exposing everything and she's exposing like major people, and so people are coming after her. And so I'm pretty sure her storyline will just be dealing with all of that and avoiding, characters that want to take her out. So I'd say that would be where she goes.
So for me, with the prediction, I can't fill in the detail here. I really can't. I can't quite work out how they're going to do this. But she has to end up back in that prison.
Yes.
She just has to. When you've got a dark force like the Freak returning and somehow she will get... We can talk about how she'll enter the prison system again.
Yeah.
But if you've got the ultimate dark force, you need the ultimate hero force or light force. And for me, it's definitely going to be Rita and the Freak. That is going to be a massive tension. So somehow Rita will end up back in the prison. I don't know how she will, but I believe she'll end up being top dog. That's a prediction I make. Again, the lack of detail, I know. How does that happen when they're going to find out if she's a police officer? I have no idea how they're going to make it happen. But she has to be.
No, the prisoners don't like her. She can't become the top dog again. Remember the kangaroo court? They decided that it was time to lynch her. So I don't think she will be. And
who?
The Freak.
No, I'm talking about Rita is going to be the top dog.
Sorry, now I get you.
Yeah.
That makes a lot more sense.
Rita will somehow she will be the top dog.
No, that's a definite possibility.
But even if she doesn't, my more realistic prediction is that she will be in the prison. Yep. She will be the polar force against the Freak.
Yes, because you need that good and evil, tension, don't you? And that's what Wentworth does so well.
Predictions around Ruby.
Look, she's going to try and stay safe because, she's still got Mari to contend with, and Mari wants to kill her. And Rita's parting message was, stay safe, keep your head down, and Will's going to look after you. Will's going to take care of you and make sure you're safe. And so I think basically she'll just be, enjoying. I think her and Ali will be back together, and they'll just be trying to, keep Ruby safe from Mari, essentially. I think that will be her only mission.
For me, I don't care. I have nothing to say. I have no predictions for Ruby. She's a boring character.
She's not a boring character.
Maybe she'll join the garden project or something. I really don't care.
No, well, she has the Mari thing. That makes her interesting.
No, nothing will make Ruby interesting,
Okay, sure.
Ali.
So Ali. So she just killed whatever his name is, Brock or whatever. And
Troy? Brody.
Brody, that's right. And she killed him because he killed Kaz, and that came out. And the thing is, then she turned to Mari and was going to kill her, and she didn't. But the reason she turned to her was because Mari has been working with this man, even knowing that he did that, or not caring that he did that, and was willing to escape with him regardless of it. And so she's not happy with Mari. So that's something I'd say about Ali.
For me, I'm predicting a massive tragedy here. Yeah, she is. You track the character of Ali, and go back to those immortal words said by the Freak. You're attracted to women of power. Yes. You're like a moth to a flame.
Yes.
And this is unfinished business. When the Freak is somehow back in that facility, there is going to be tragedy. Ali will die. There's 100% that has to happen because this is all linked to B. And when the Freak comes back in, I don't know how it will be, but it's going to be gruesome and it's going to be shocking. Yeah. And it won't be a death with dignity for me. This one won't be. This is going to be one of the shocks. Ali will die by something orchestrated by the Freak. I don't know if it will be at the Freak's own hands, but she will be the instigator.
Fair enough. Well, because the Freak can't stand anybody that's against her or might take her out. And Ali has the impetus to kill the Freak because of the B thing, because she killed her lover, and she still wants to do that. So I think I don't know if that will be the main concern that the Freak has, but it'll definitely be one of them if Ali gets in her way again.
So you're agreeing Ali's probably dead?
I would agree. It's probable that she will die. Yeah, I don't think it's absolutely guaranteed though. I think there's a scenario where she could survive and the Freak could die.
Mari Winter. Now, for me, this one's fascinating. I think that she's going to have a misplaced alliance with Joan. When you think about where we go with Mari at the end of season 7, she's going to need a lot of protection. She's, and she's, what is she good at? Manipulating relationship.
Absolutely.
And so is Joan.
Yes.
They will have a misplaced she will have a misplaced alliance with Joan. But what I've noticed about the character of Mari Winter is they keep redeeming her. There's a lot not to like, but even in that siege, and even with she was intent on escaping, but she didn't become psychopathic.
No. And she got distracted by emotional concerns as well. She's not just a cold-hearted sort of person.
No.
She
didn't want Brody to murder the women. She was hoping she just wanted to get out and do that by fear and intimidation, sure.
Yeah.
But she drew the line at this siege situation of people being shot off one by one.
Yeah.
So I do believe that there'll be some redeeming factors for Mari.
I believe she will form an alliance with the Freak too, but for this reason, right? Mari wants Ruby dead. She really does. She's a mother that lost a child.
Do you think that's gone now, though?
No, that's not gone. That will never go because that's maternal, Mari needs Ruby dead. She won't rest until she is. That's going to be a current through the storyline, I think. And here's the thing. Who does the Freak want dead? Now we're moving on to the Freak a bit. But she wants Will dead. That's who she wants because she'll figure out that it was Will. She'll figure that she's very smart, obviously, and so Will is protecting Ruby. So it's in Mari's interest to have somebody helping her to ensure Will can't protect Ruby.
They've got a common interest.
Yes, so they've got that common interest there, and I really do think that could be a really, really cool alliance to see happen. They're both very, very evil.
And it's funny you say that because I'm quite interested to see them working together as well. Yeah.
I don't think they'll like each other, but I think they'll have to work together.
Now we're getting to the Freak, we really are. But first, let's talk about Jake.
Yep.
What's going to happen for Jake in these final 20 episodes?
I think he'll move back into Vera's life. That's my prediction. I think
he redeemed himself big time towards the end of season 7.
Yes, and I think that's why he'll start moving back into her life. And then what did she do? She let him hold the baby.
Yeah,
and that's very symbolic of I think what's to come. But I don't think it's just going to be all flowers and roses. I think maybe some other characters will try and ruin that. i.e. the freak.
They've resurrected his reputation so well because he was so... Anyone who harmed... Any viewer of Wentworth hates anyone who harms Vera.
Yes.
Because she's sweetness and light and goodness personified.
Yes.
So, but for the writers to have brought Jake back and rehabilitated him the way they have, because I don't mind Jake anymore so much too, because he's really trying his guts out to be a better person. But he will not end up with Vera. I'm sure of that. But they'll be good parents together.
Yes, fair enough.
But the freak is going to control him again.
Yes, and I think that's a very good prediction because she might, whether or not she knows that he's in on it, she knows a lot about him. She's got that money trail. She's got possibly evidence that he was involved in her attempted murder. So she'll have him at her disposal to use, won't she?
Let's talk about Joan Ferguson now, the freak.
Everything links to her, doesn't
Everything
it?
links to her, 100%. Now, I will just start off with this. This is not so much a prediction as my hope. Anyone who's listened to our podcast before will know that I have hoped and hoped and hoped season after season after season after season that she will become the governor again. And I believe that it is absolutely possible. This is still a hope, not a prediction.
Yes.
But I believe it's possible because she didn't actually commit a crime once she was released. She's committed plenty of crimes, but I'm talking about in terms of evidence.
Yep.
B was out in the back lane.
Yep, no man's land. And it's complete self-protection. This is like self-defense. Like Frankie said, and she has a lot of legal know-how, she said, 18 stab wounds or whatever it is, that's not self-defense. Like, that's excessive self-defense. It has to be directly proportional.
Yeah, I don't care. 18, it could have been 118. The freak was released from prison.
Yeah.
Walks into the back lane and there's a prisoner there.
That conspiracy
Give me a break.
That's important.
Give me a break.
And she was right about Vera being involved. And even though... now that she, will be able to prove that she was buried alive, got out, that there was clearly the conspiracy that she kept referring to is clearly at play now. Yes.
It's quite possible she will be completely exonerated and return to be a staff member, either a screw or the governor, but it's possible she's not going back into that compound as a prisoner.
I think she's going to be lingering around, going to people's houses, texting, doing exactly what the blackmailer Murphy did, but it's actually her, and it's actually a lot more intelligent.
I couldn't disagree more on that. Okay. Couldn't disagree more. She has been out for so long now. She has had time to craft the plan like a chess game.
That's true.
And she has nothing to lose and everything to get revenge on. So she will go back into that prison and meet this head on. She won't be doing the Murphy style, I know what you did last summer type of garbage. She's going to be back in that prison.
But I don't see how she would be back in that prison. Like maybe as a prisoner while they await trials and all that sort of stuff. But why would they put her back in the prison that clearly there's a conspiracy going on in relation to?
Oh, God, that's a good question. How many times did they release her back into the general population, though? They always managed to justify it somehow.
Yes,
you kept thinking, legally, why would they keep doing that?
Honestly, I think her main mission is to get Will because... remember at the end of season 5 when everything was going wrong for the freak and she just didn't care anymore, and so she just made a tactical error. Really, she provoked Will and challenged his manhood, said he was a coward basically, and that he would never do what he actually needed to do to sort things out.
Yes,
and then he buried her alive, and so she's smart enough to know that it's probably him, and then. Here's my prediction. I think she was working with Murphy, who was blackmailing them, and she has that footage that Murphy took of Vera and Jake and Will standing above her supposed grave, and I think that will be her evidence that her prediction is her belief is correct, that Will was the one that buried her. And I think that will just set her off, and that will be her mission, to kill Will.
That's where you and I agree totally. She will have so much information over Jake, Vera, Will, so she will be able to control them. The question everybody asks themselves, of course, is how did she get out of the box? To be honest with you, I'm not particularly interested in that because she had a lighter. She's just going to burn her way out and be, she's going to have some scars. But
she didn't look burnt though when we saw her, and
you haven't seen her hands yet.
But do you know what's even more interesting though? Who was in the box when they dug down and checked that she was dead?
I've got a prediction on that.
Not Maxine.
I don't think they're ever going to answer it because, quite frankly, I really don't. I know that the fans are like notorious for being curious about this. Who was in the box? To be honest with you, I don't share it. I don't care who's in the box. It's not.
Oh my God.
I really don't. Like, she's just got any old person from a graveyard and shoved the uniform on them. What makes us think it's somebody important? It couldn't be Maxine, like everyone keeps saying, purely because somebody would go, "Oh, did you hear Maxine died or is missing?" And nobody's ever done that. So.
No, well, they might do that this season, but I don't think it's Maxine either. But that would certainly be a clever way of doing it, though.
We're not finished with the freak, but we're going to move to other characters because everything intersects, right?
Yeah.
We talk about Boomer for a moment?
Yes, I'd like to.
What do you predict?
Well, my only prediction for poor Boomer is that she's lost 2 mothers in one episode. She lost her real mother, obviously, who she had problems with, but she was shot in front of her eyes by Brody, and she also lost Liz, who she euthanized, and like that's a lot of trauma. That's all at once. That was like really, really horrible episode for Boomer, that last episode. And so I don't know. I think she'll just be moping about. But to be honest,
I think they have to resolve this show by having happiness galore for Boomer. I believe she'll get pregnant. I don't know how, but I believe she will. I have to say, as an aside, Liz, who is beloved by the Wentworth fan community, is the most selfish character of any play or script or movie I've ever seen in my life. Think about it. All she's done in every season, she just died in season 7, lagging. She got the extra years put onto Boomer's sentence by being a lagger. And then her final selfish act is, "Oh, Boomer, I know that I'm the reason that you're in here for so many extra years. And I love your love like a mother. But I'm feeling a bit locked in. Can you commit murder for me, please? Can that be the last thing I ask you to do?" She asks Boomer to commit murder. So Boomer's not getting out. Boomer's now committed murder. It reminds me very much of when Frankie had all her own problems going on. She go, "Oh, Frankie, can you protect me from Sonia? Can you protect me from Sonia?" She's such a selfish woman. I don't know why she's so beloved.
Well, she's beloved because she's personally very caring, very nurturing. She's
not.
She's a mother
selfish.
figure. She's like, look, you can say she lagged a lot, but the context of it is very important. And you could say selfishness because, like, she definitely witnessed the whole Witness X thing with Sonia. That was so that she could. It was all for herself. Like, it wasn't for anybody else. It wasn't for somebody else's well-being. It was for her. Fair enough. But do
you think it was selfish to ask Boomer to commit a crime?
Like, yeah, it was, because it's not like, euthanasia is legal in New South Wales, so it might mitigate it or something, though.
She's never destined to get out. I don't know how they're going to make her pregnant, but she will get pregnant. Because if they don't give this woman some joy, it'll be an absolute tragedy.
It almost doesn't make sense for her to go on if they don't. But maybe Maxine could be the solution. Maybe Maxine will come back. Maybe Boomer will be moping about like I predicted because of all this horrible stuff that's happened. Plus, she's staying in prison for a lot longer, even though she was pretty much out. Maybe Maxine is the only way to bring
to come back.
I do, but you're also saying we need Boomer to be happy. I don't see any other way than for somebody that she loves to come back and give her a
question.
baby.
If you're listening, will Maxine come back? Tell us. Write a comment. I want to hear. Will Maxine return? That was the big prediction last series too.
Yeah, or is she in the box?
Also predict that Boomer will give up Monte Carlos.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I do.
That's a pertinent issue, Will she or won't she,
I'm sure she will. And it will send Arnott's out of business. That'll just be a little side storyline. Now, let's talk about Will. The storyline for Will is going to be complicated, but ultimately, he will bring Joan down. And my prediction is that his death will be sacrificial. He will die a heroic death, one that he knows about and does for some sacrificial reason. He will, because he's the protector of the women, he will make the ultimate sacrifice, and it will be of his choice, somehow wrapped up in his work, probably with Rita, to bring the freak down once and for all. He will die a hero.
Well, he's a very moral character, and he's always genuinely cared about, the prisoners and the women, and like that's what we love so much about him. And so, like him and Rita, they're the opposite of Joan, and that's a good tension. Him and Rita are the opposite of Mari and Joan, so maybe it's him and Rita versus them, because you said maybe Rita will be top dog. Maybe Will will be governor still because Vera's on maternity leave, and he'll be. Him and Rita will need to form an alliance, just like Mari and Joan are forming an alliance. Like, that might be the only way that, good could actually triumph.
That sounds like we've got the same prediction there.
Yeah, it makes sense, doesn't it? Because it's all about good and evil in Wentworth fundamentally, and you need to distinguish who's good and evil and see what might happen.
Let's finish off with Vera.
Yes, let's do that.
Oh, Vera's in for hell.
Be loved by, yeah.
These last 20 seasons are going to be hell. She is at her most vulnerable. She's a mother.
She's a mother.
And she has something to protect.
Yes.
By the end of the 20 episodes, she must find contentedness. She has to. But before we reach that point, that baby is going to be threatened. And
yes.
And Vera's new family dynamic is going to be under siege.
Yep. Yeah, it's absolutely true. And you remember when Jake and Vera were going to move away together, but then Vera realized that Jake was a snake and he was working with the freak. Maybe there'll be like a little. Maybe that will come back. Obviously, her and Jake can never be the same again. But maybe they will just be friends and get out of there. Like, why would they even want to stay in Canberra where they are with Wentworth, and get away from it? Neither of them have any interest anymore in being there, none whatsoever.
So you're predicting they'll, by the end of this, make the family unit together?
I think they'll at least try, but maybe the freak is what will stop that. She's the only thing that can...
Will Vera live or die?
Oh, I think Vera will probably live.
Yeah.
Because if they don't let somebody really, really good live throughout the entire series, and she's been there since season 1, then, it's overwhelming and upsetting for the audience.
So in summary, we've got Ali will meet a gruesome end.
Yeah.
Will have a sacrificial death. Vera's baby will be threatened, but Vera will survive and find contentedness.
Yep.
The freak will be brought down ultimately by a group effort.
Yeah, maybe not this season, though.
Absolutely no question about it, Mr. Meggs, that there is going to be wall-to-wall twists, turns, and shocks.
Yeah, well, I think we bounced off each other very well. I think we've got a good sort of idea of what's going to happen.
And if we're not right in our predictions, we should have been. The writers should have paid heed to us.
Well, actually, if we're completely right in our predictions, that's not good. That means they're not being original and creative,
Well, maybe. Or maybe it's really bad for us too if we're right, because at the end of each episode, we'll just yawn.
It'll still be
Saw that coming.
No, it'll be... They do it very well.
I've got to say this, though, after everything that we've just spoken about and the degree of false confidence that I'm pretending to have about the predictions coming true, Wentworth is our favourite show because of the fact that you just never freaking see it coming. That whole thing at the end of season, that was such a brilliant last episode in season 7. I actually thought season 7 had its ups and downs, and I wasn't totally convinced. I thought season 6 was weaker. I thought season 7 was stronger. But that last episode you couldn't fault. It had me on the... And this is a bad admission, but just when you were getting over the goosebumps and you're taking the deep breath, the perfect timing of putting her in when you never saw it coming in a million years.
That
the one shot of the freak.
Yes.
I actually let out the most womanly squeal across the living room.
That. Yes, everybody says I was shocked.
And I had to stop and I turned it. Did I just see that?
Yeah.
Because you just thought the show was done. You thought, oh, wow, that was well wrapped up. That was pretty intense. You just thought it was over and that you were in a decline. And then they show that. I was... have out of body experience.
Yeah, and people are irritated saying it's not realistic.
I told you she wasn't dead though.
Yes,
Go back
you
and
did.
listen to the podcast. I always said she wasn't dead.
Yeah, and look, and it's true, and I think they needed to bring her back to breathe life into it so that it can keep it going for the next 2 seasons. Pessimistically, that's why.
But I won't lie. I always said she wasn't dead. But by the end of season 7. I thought I was just wrong. That's how brilliant it was because I was like, well, clearly she must be dead because she hasn't popped up for the last 2 series.
Even the person who desired her return the most, like had went, oh, well, she's not coming back. It's just ridiculous because they did very well. I think what made season 6 so terrible was that they kept teasing the idea of her coming back and she didn't. It was just Murphy.
Oh, it was so
I think that will be redeemed, that storyline, by the fact that the freak was actually working with Murphy. They were working together.
No way.
And she was using Murphy as a tool, and now she's dead, and so that's good for the freak. And
it's interesting. No way. The freak's too good to work with, an amateur like Murphy.
She works with amateurs if they give her something.
Yeah, I suppose that's true. And what do our listeners think? Leave your comments below. What are the predictions that you agree with today? What are the ones that you haven't heard yet? What are you convinced of? Or are you one of those people that would prefer not to think about it because you just like to let the story unfold? We really want to hear your comments. Megsy, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
And here's on to, we've only got 9 months to wait.
Oh, it's so annoying.
No, 9 months, it'll fly by.
It's really upsetting. I just want... Because now that we've done this, I really want to see it. I want to see if we're right.
Have a good night.